Hello and welcome to Cracking the Cryptic. Now today I'm just going to have a look at my solve of today's Times crossword number 27089 and see how I got on and what was tripping me up. I was going for a quick time because I've been averaging a bit under 5 minutes this week, so I was hoping to do that again, but it didn't work out. So after a decent start at 1 across, it's 1 down, this threw me a bit. I'll just pause here as we look at the clue. Drug satisfied a politician and governor in the main resort. Drug looks like it's probably going to be the definition there. And satisfied can often be met, and immediately I'm thinking of methamphetamine. Now, you may notice in my pronunciation there, I must be a bit ignorant of that drug, proudly perhaps, but the wordplay really didn't help me with my ignorance bit, because met I can see from satisfied. A politician, that's AMP to me, and governor is HE for his excellency. Those are quite standard crosswordese. And that would give me metamphet. And I'm thinking, well, it's an amphetamine with a meta on the front, so it's methamphetamine. But as I start writing that into the space, I realise that it's not going to fit. It would have to be methamphetamines, and there's no plural suggestion in the clue. And I can't quite work out how tannine at the end would be the main anagram. So something's gone wrong. I realise I may have misunderstood slightly what's going on, and I move on to other clues. I'm quite confident about the beginning of the word. Now here at 9 across, good luck, well done if you knew that. It's a word I have learned to spell, thanks to my wife being Irish, but to know the Prime Minister of Ireland's title is one thing, to be able to spell it is quite another. It's a very clever clue in a way, because it's using Taoism, old Chinese philosophy. Briefly means you can take the M off, and then followed by every, the word each. So somehow Taois and each become the word Taoiseach, which is the Irish Prime Minister. So, I have a bonus in that I know how to spell that, and it can go in fairly quickly. But this crossword, interestingly, I think was a mixture of quite a lot of crosswordese and quite a lot of general knowledge. And as with 1 down, general knowledge can really help you jump to the answer here. Now, because of this M that I'm starting 11 across with, it doesn't work very well for me. So I can do 2 down, and I go back to 11 across. Enthusiasm's more exhausting, as Cockneys may say. Now, there are various Cockneyisms that appear in puzzles. Now, the most normal one is to take an H off the start of the word to de-aspirate it. So hotter would be shown as otter. But also you can see sandpaper given as sandpiper or something. That's meant to be a Cockneyism, apparently. And I couldn't quite see how enthusiasm or more exhausting worked here, but madder seemed to be more enthusiastic. So I put it in for now, although I was a bit suspicious about it, and indeed it turns out that that's wrong because the M's wrong, and I have to deconstruct that a bit. So I've really not been helped by my lack of general knowledge at 1 down. I can't solve 3 down now, possibly partly because I put in a bogus E. 4 down, I didn't really understand. Spiritual leader, one with mother in Newcastle, perhaps. Couldn't get to 5 down. Something fishy, looks like the definition to me. Originally marking, looks like the letter M, A. But Maharishi or something would have to begin M-A-H. And I couldn't see, that might be a teacher, a Maharishi, but it didn't seem to be the right length. I couldn't see the wakeful type here. So now I'm really struggling. I've got an H at the beginning of 14 across. That's not going to help me, even though there's an H in the clue from hotel. It turns out that's wrong. And I can't remember quite where I get going again. I think there's some point at which I have to revisit 1 down. Let's have a look. Couldn't do 6 down. Looks to me like the clue is generator of glossy, so perhaps somebody who publishes a magazine. But I've gone back to 11 across and worked out. I think what I did at this point was to decide it's surely going to be the aspiration Cockneyism. So it has to begin with a vowel. So my M is wrong. And I've worked out that ardour, which sounds like harder, as a Cockney might say it, fits both the definition and the wordplay. And that has given me this H that I was missing in methamphetamine, because of course it's made with meth as the beginning. So that was what I was getting wrong. And in the main resort, or in the main resort, was telling me to put the main anagram around AMPHE. So it was this very complicated clue, in fact, and it would have really helped if I'd had the general knowledge to get there. Bit more general knowledge needed. 14 across Petersham, 18 down Lateran. Those are quite unusual things. 27 across bizarre. Well, that's eccentric, so that's easy enough. But eccentric as a noun, being a device for converting motion, not everybody would know that. 3 down can now be corrected. It's SQ replacing the A in rear, and that gives us rescuer. And finally, okay, that's got the left side of the puzzle done largely, but I'm struggling to make any actual progress now with the right. So it's a kind of a second bit of a blockage for me. Fellow caught with intoxicating liquor. I want that to be man C, but that's not a word. I don't think I get 5 down. Oh, I do. So I've worked out at this point that the prim teacher is the definition, in fact, not something fishy. Something fishy is a school. Originally marking is M, then A for A, and jolly means that it doesn't finish AM, which is one alternative spelling of schoolma'am. It finishes RM for Royal Marines. A Royal Marine is known as a jolly for some reason. 13 down, I can see that giveaway is shop at the start of the clue, but it then says that one may sell it. And I was assuming, therefore, that 13 down refers to the wares in a shop, what a shopkeeper has to sell. I didn't realise that it was referring back to the ring in the clue, and the fact that somebody who sells a ring would be the answer to the clue. Fairly straightforward. 28 across, that's quite an amusing bit of crosswordese. I've written an ethos. And if you haven't seen this before, you might not understand it. Spirit revealed, albeit briefly, in French art. So spirit is the definition. And you've got albeit briefly is THO, though, because you can write though THO, especially if you're American. And that is albeit written briefly. So that means that French art is ES. And when I first did crosswords, I came across this once or twice, and I didn't really understand why French art was ES. And I would look up ES, and I found that there is some degree in a French arts degree includes a word that has ES, that is just ES, some old French word. And I thought it was to do with that, and it's not. This is because the French for you are is tu es, spelled ES, and art is the old English form of you singular are, is thou art. So the French equivalent of art is ES, which is fascinating, and it's kind of got grandfathered into crosswords now. Another bit of general knowledge at 26, the old communist executive. Well, it's great if you know that that's Politburo, because that shortcuts the clue dramatically. Now, with the letters in the grid, I'm able to finish off Alec and shopkeeper fairly straightforwardly. And again, at 8 down, existing at the same time. If you know the word for that, it's a bit of a write-in, contemporaneous. These letters at the end of 16, 16, blooming supplier of meat and sauce. Well, lip is a fairly, I've just paused there, lip is a fairly common crossword synonym for sauce or nerve or cheek or being rude. That's what they all mean, although every other word I said, apart from being rude, has another meaning. So they're very useful for crosswords. And therefore, you know, I could see lip, and if it's a blooming supplier of something and lip, it must be a tulip, surely. In fact, there's 2 5-letter flowers ending in lip, and I had the wrong one. So I thought about it a little more and corrected the tulip to oxlip, which gives us the meat at the start of the clue. So again, I'm trying to use these letters at the end of words that contemporaneous has given me. It doesn't work very well for 10 and 12, and I can't do 6 down at this point. But 7 down begins with a siblings declaration and ends in the unusual L something O. And a siblings declaration could either be I'm cis or I'm bro. So that's imbroglio. We're getting there as a mess as the answer. It's a very neat clue, in fact. Insomniac is therefore the wakeful type, and imam at 4 down, because mam is apparently a Newcastle way of saying mum. Well, I mean, I know it's a way of saying mum. I wouldn't necessarily have associated it only with Newcastle, but there we go. 10 across, the state here turns out to be a nation, or Gabon, and I quite like the fact that speaker's gift is gab. If a fluent speaker has the gift of the gab, that's very neat. The generator was the whole definition in 6 down, so it's magneto. And as I'd thought, glossy potentially does give mag, but I'd had that slightly in the wrong part of the clue. And finally, its occupants may be collared, dovecote. So it's a good puzzle, really. I don't think I appreciated as I was racing through it quite how clever a lot of that is, and most enjoyable. Let's carry on and show some of the clues back in case anybody wants to see that. And that was today's puzzle. So 6 minutes 36, certainly not the time I was hoping for. If I was to finish the week averaging 5 minutes, I'd need to do tomorrow's puzzle in 4 minutes, and that's very unlikely. So well done, the setter. It certainly helped me out. Didn't help that I didn't know enough about methamphetamine. I'm probably not going to go out and rectify that lack. But lovely puzzles. Some crosswordies, some general knowledge, but I think that makes it all a very good mix. So thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you again on Cracking the Cryptic.